Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing some macro photography at Holywell Bay Beach in Cornwall in the sand dunes, and it's currently 5 AM and sunrise is at 5:15 I believe, but it is quite cloudy so probably won't see the sun. You can sort of see a bit of the sunrise over there, but I think I prefer it without the sun anyway because I like to use the flash and diffuser and the sun kind of interferes with that when I'm trying to do macro photography. But at the moment I'm just walking towards the sand dunes. There is some plants and stuff as I walk, but I usually like to get straight to the sand dunes because that's where most of the subjects are. So yeah, I'll cut to when I get to the sand dunes. I've just found a grasshopper resting on this blade of grass here, and typically in the middle of the day they're very active, but right now it's very cold because it's the morning and it seems to be a lot more still. Even though it's colder in the morning, they're still very active. As you can see, it's jumping around. So I don't know if I'll be able to get a photo, but I'll keep trying and see what I can do. So I managed to get a photo. It's not the best photo in the world, and I could have stayed a lot longer and took my time to try and get a better shot. But I think I'll just want to move on to another subject because they are quite common grasshoppers, and I'd rather be photographing something a lot cooler. So let's see if we can find anything else. I've just found what I think is a little wasp on the end of this blade of grass here, and I think it's sleeping, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to be really careful when I touch the piece of grass that it's on, just in case it's not sleeping, or even if it is sleeping, I don't want to shake the grass too much and disturb it and make it fly off. I'm just going to set up my Cotto helping hands, put a background on one of these, and then use my scissors to cut the piece of grass that the wasp is on and put it onto the other helping hand. Because the wasp is yellow, I'm going to go for this blue and green sort of background. I think that will contrast the yellow of the wasp nicely. So I'm just going to place my background card in this helping hand here, ready for when I take the photo. And then I'm going to get my scissors out of my bag and cut the blade of grass that the wasp is on and clip it onto the other helping hand down there. What I typically like to do is clip the grass first and then snip beneath the crocodile clip. So the wasp actually started moving and climbed up the bit of grass onto the actual helping hand itself. I did get a portrait and a couple single shots as it was going up the grass, but I don't really like getting unnatural objects in my macro shots. So what I've done is grabbed one of these, cut the stem off with the scissors, and I've placed that on the helping hand and just moved the wasp onto it carefully. And the wasp is now resting nicely on that flower. I'm not too sure what these flowers are called. But yeah, I should be able to get a lot nicer shot now. So, and it's staying perfectly still. So let's go get this shot. The flower is blocking the front of the wasp's face, so I'm going for this slight side angle here. And to be honest, I really like this composition anyway. I think it looks better than a face-on shot, because face-on shots are very standard. I get a lot of those. So it's a bit different to my typical shots. And what I'm going to do here is just focus just before the wasp is in focus, and then I'm going to press the shutter button to start my focus bracket. I'm really happy with that shot. I was hoping to get either a bee or a wasp shot this morning, so that's ticked off my bucket list. So yeah, let's move on to the next subject. And like always, I'll return the subject back where I found it. Obviously I found it on the blade of grass and now it's on this. So I'll just put this flower along with the other flowers, and the wasp can then move wherever it wants to. So yeah, let's go on to the next shot. I've just found a weevil on this flower here and it is staying perfectly still right now. But the flower it's on isn't staying still because it's blowing around in the wind. So I'm going to hold that with my hand and then just position the weevil to have this blue background in the background. And as you can see, I've clamped both helping hands to that just so that's not blowing around in the wind. And then I can freely just move around the flower that the weevil's on to position that in the background. Right now I'm trying to get my composition as straight on and symmetrical as possible, and the weevil is perched nicely on the end of this flower and staying still. So let's go get the shot. That was perfect timing. As I was finishing the focus bracket and coming to the end of the Weevil, I noticed the head started moving a little bit. But luckily I'd focus bracketed past the head, so that shouldn't be a problem when it comes to focus stacking later on. While I was sitting there getting that last shot, I just noticed this harvestman molting, and as you can see, its legs are all curled up and it wiggles them every now and then. And above its abdomen you can see the old legs, so they're a bit darker and they're hanging on to that little bit of grass there. So this is a very interesting scene. I've never really photographed something like this, so let's get a shot. I'm going to try and focus bracket this, and it might be a bit tricky because it does wiggle its legs quite a lot, but every now and then it does stay still. Like right now it's staying still, so I've just got to try and focus bracket in those intervals where its legs are staying still, and it should be good. I'm really happy with that shot, and harvestmans are quite common. I do photograph them a lot, but I was really excited to photograph this one just because I've never seen a harvestman doing that before, and I'm pretty sure it was molting, but let me know if it was doing something else because I'm no entomologist, no expert. I've just found some sort of robber fly on this blade of grass here, and I feel like it will fly away when I touch the grass, so I'm going to try and get a shot quickly. And then if it does seem to be staying still, I'll cut the piece of grass off and use the helping hands. So the fly started moving around now. It's just gone onto another blade of grass, and I tried picking up that blade of grass that it flew onto, and it's moved again. So yeah, I'm not going to keep chasing it. I think I'm just going to settle with the shot I got. I think it was a pretty decent shot anyway. Not sure if the stack will turn out proper clean, but got a shot nonetheless. There's a grass bug just chilling on this flower, and it does seem quite still, so hopefully I can get a detailed portrait. But if it does start moving, I should be able to get a single shot. It is actually a lot more skittish than I thought, and it started to run around. It's staying still right now, but it's in a bit of an awkward spot. So I'm actually going to go for a different sort of composition. I really like the texture of this flower, so I'm going to include that in the shot, shoot a little less magnified, and go for a top-down angle. So yeah, let's get the shot. Definitely not the shot I set out to get, but I think the circumstances actually made me get a more interesting shot. Don't typically go for compositions like that, and I think it shows off the flower it's on very nicely, because a detailed portrait, you don't really see a lot of the texture of those sort of flowers. As you can see, there's the two iconic gull rocks at Holywell Bay Beach, and it's currently high tide, so the sea's as far in as it gets. It's pretty windy up here, so I think I'm actually going to move somewhere else, go further down in the sand dunes where it's a bit more sheltered, probably over there, a bit more inland, because close to the sea it gets a lot more windy, and wind is a big problem in macro photography. I've just found a burnet moth perched on this flower here, and it's in a perfect spot to photograph. I'm just going to place a background card behind it, probably a pink or purpley coloured one to match the flower, and then I'll get a shot of it. I think this colour will be nice to use in the background. It matches the colour of the flower, and I'm just going to place it in the helping hand to stop it blowing around in the wind and to get it at the same height as the burnet moth. I've got my background in place using the helping hands, and I've also placed my backpack there because the sun's coming in from the left and it's shining onto the burnet moth, which doesn't look very nice. So that's just shading the subject, and I'm ready to go now. So I'm just going to pick up my camera, use probably the typical sort of settings, so f8 and 1/64 on the flash, 1/100 shutter speed, and ISO 200. I'm going to try not to touch the flower that the moth is on, just because I noticed it was moving around a tiny bit as I was getting the background in place, so it might fly away if I touch the flower. There's a little bit of grass in the foreground that is obstructing the face, so I'm just going to snip that carefully so it's not in the shot. There we go. I'm going to get one shot less magnified, showing the moth on the flower, and then for my next shot I think I'll get a close-up portrait. That should be good. I think both of those shots should have turned out really nice. And I wasn't too sure about the purple background to begin with, but looking at the back of the camera, I think I quite like it. I was going to go for a green background originally, but I thought I'd try purple to match the flower. While I was sitting here getting that last shot, I noticed a fly down here in the grass, and it's one of those green metallic-y looking ones. I forgot the name of it, but I photographed one of these last year, and I believe they're soldier flies. I could be wrong though. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it's currently on this bit of dead grass here. Might be a little awkward to photograph, it could fly away, but we'll give it a shot. I didn't think a top-down angle would look that nice, but I think it looked pretty good in the end. And I did try and pick up the grass that it was on to get another shot, and it did fly away. So yeah, we'll move on to another subject now. I've just found a caterpillar on this blade of grass here, and it's got all this fluff on it. I'm not sure if that's from the caterpillar itself or if it's from something else. I'm really not too sure, but it does look quite interesting, so I'm going to get a shot of it, and I'm going to clamp the grass onto the helping hand without snipping the grass, just because I want to let the caterpillar chill on here and I don't want to disturb it. So yeah, let's get this shot. I've got the grass clamped onto that helping hand there, and I'm just going to rotate the arm with the background on to have more of the green in the background. I think I'll have like a transition from the green to the blue. I think that'll look quite interesting. As you've probably seen throughout this video, my camera has been getting sand on it and my lens. But the good thing about this lens and camera setup by OM System is that it's dust proof. So as long as I don't get loads of sand on it, I shouldn't have to worry. I'm going to position my camera so I can have the transition from green to blue in the background. And about there looks quite good. And then I'm going to focus well before anything's in focus, which is about there. And then press my shutter button to start my focus bracket. That was a pretty good shot, and I'm still not too sure what the fluff is on the caterpillar. I'm guessing it's some sort of defense mechanism, I'm not too sure. And I don't know how it got there, if it made it itself or some other thing has put it there. But if anyone has any ideas, let me know down in the comments. And now I'm finished getting a shot. I'm just going to unclip this crocodile clip here that the grass is on with the caterpillar. And there, it's back to normal now. And then I can just take my helping hands and go get another shot. I don't know if you can see on camera from here, but on that white flower in my shadow, oh, never mind. I was about to say there's a hornet mimicking hoverfly, but it just flew away. So yeah, we'll have to find something else now. I've just found a really nice metallic green beetle on this white flower here, and its head is tucked in quite a bit, so I won't be able to get a straight on portrait of its face. But it is on the edge of the flower, so I should be able to get a nice side angle. I'm going to cut the flower that the beetle's on, just because it's in a bit of an awkward spot and the sun is shining on it, so I need to reposition the flower so the sun is not shining on it. I've got the flower clamped onto one of the helping hands now, and I think I'm just going to use this colour background because it complements the beetle quite nicely. So I'm just going to reposition the background to my liking, and then I'll get the shot. I'm going to shoot at a slight angle rather than shooting at a complete side angle, just because I want to show off more of the face as well. So yeah, let's get this shot. I can see a bit more of its face now, so I've actually repositioned the flower and the background just so I can get a face on portrait. I'm really happy with those shots, and I don't think I've ever photographed one of those beetles before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're called jewel beetles. And yeah, I wasn't expecting to get a nice portrait, just because when I first saw it, its head was buried into the flower. Now I'm finished getting the shot like usual. I'm going to grab the flower that the beetle's on and put it back more or less where I found it. So I think I snipped it from over here. So we'll just place the flower down there and the beetle can chill. Snails aren't something I typically photograph just because they're quite common and I think they're a little bit boring. But this snail here is really interesting, and I don't think I really get these back home. So I'm going to get a shot of it. I'm just going to keep it simple for this shot and get a single shot. And I'm currently waiting for it to turn around because its shell was hanging off the leaf, and I want the leaf to be behind the shell. Alright, it looks like it's gone back into its shell, and I don't really want to wait for it to come back out because I think I've got a decent shot already. So we'll leave it there and move on to another shot. I've just found a harvestman on this flower here, and it is moving around quite a lot, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the exact shot I want. I have set up this background because I do hope to use that, but it keeps changing position. Right now it's actually on the helping hand itself. So yeah, I might have to be quite patient with this one. Hopefully we get a shot. Right, so I managed to get a shot of the harvestman. It was moving around a lot, which made it extremely hard to get a photo. And off camera I did get a second shot. It was a bit awkward to film because I had to lie on the ground. But that one was a lot more magnified. But yeah, I don't think that was particularly anything crazy. Just another shot really. I've just found another burnet moth on a yellow flower. And to complement the yellow of the flower, I'm going to place this yellow background behind it. And as you can see, there's some sunlight on the moth, so I'm probably going to have to place my backpack just to the right of it so I can block that sunlight hitting my subject. That shot should have turned out pretty good, and I wasn't going to photograph it at first because I've already photographed one of these today and they're quite common. But it was on a yellow flower and the one earlier was on a pink flower, so it was a bit different. I think I'm going to call today's video here. Got quite a good few shots today. I think my favourite was probably the wasp shot, just because I set out today in hopes to find either a wasp or a bee, and I found a wasp. But let me know what's your favourite down below in the comments. I'll be interested to know. But as always, all the equipment I used in today's video will be linked up down below in the description. And those are affiliate links, so if you buy through them, I'll get a small commission and no extra cost to you, which helps support the channel. But with that said and done, I'm going to end today's video here. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.